Let me guess, you've tried a few diets, you were hopeful that they would work, and unfortunately, you always come back to overeating, eating the food you think you shouldn't, and then feeling guilty about it afterwards. Stay tuned, and throughout this video, you'll learn the 5 science-backed reasons why diets don't work and what you can do instead. On this channel, you'll learn the science behind why you overeat and tangible take-home strategies for how you can improve your relationship with your body and food. If this sounds like just what you need, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell in the corner so you don't miss a single episode. I publish new videos every Wednesday. I'm Meredith MacKenzie of Parallel Wellness. I'm a clinical therapist and intuitive eating coach. I've worked with hundreds of women who struggle with poor body image and feeling out of control with food so that they can feel more attuned with their bodies, their hunger and fullness cues, and make peace with food so that they can fully participate in their lives. For most people, dieting loosely involves decreasing your caloric intake and increasing your movement with the overall goal of losing weight. The math makes sense, and it's the advice that the medical industry, fitness industry, and even your Aunt Mary have been promoting for decades. So why do diets not work for so many people? Is it your fault? Is it something you're doing wrong? No. And here are the 5 science-backed reasons why diets don't work. Let me take a moment to gush about how amazing the human body is. It's perfectly designed to help you adapt and adjust to the environmental changes that happen and your needs for food. Unfortunately, this is also one of the main reasons that diets don't work for most people. When you reduce your caloric intake, your body experiences metabolic adaptation or adaptive thermogenesis. Your body wants to preserve its energy, so it suppresses the thermogenesis within it. And this would normally burn fat. And research studies have shown that the body actually shifts to using protein sources within it when you're in a caloric deficit. So it starts burning lean muscle matter rather than fat. Overall, your resting metabolic rate decreases while you're in a deficit. And you would hope that your body would catch up once you start eating more normally, but the body's slow to catch up. From an evolutionary standpoint, your body is worried about the next famine that might be right around the corner. Research on the contestants of The Biggest Loser found that the majority of the people on the TV show actually had their resting metabolic rate stay low at the same low level for a 6-year period after their extreme weight loss challenge, even if they gained back the weight. The most significant slowdown was actually found among people who had the most extreme weight loss. This leads me into my next reason why diets don't work. When most people begin eating normally again, their resting metabolic rate remains slow, so as they're eating, they actually begin gaining weight back. Research shows that weight loss efforts typically have little long-term effectiveness, with 1/3 to 2/3 of dieters actually getting more weight back in the end over a 4 to 5 year period after they finish their last diet. Does this sound familiar to you? Remember when you worked so hard to lose that weight and then it slowly crept back on? Did you blame yourself? Well, let this be reassurance to you that it wasn't your fault, it's how your biology works. When your goal is weight loss or even maintenance, dieting actually works against this. Dozens of studies have shown that dieting and restricting were actually predictors of future weight gain. And dieting is starting younger and younger. And a study on adolescents, those who dieted had a 3 times greater risk of becoming obese in the future than those who didn't diet. So what does this mean for you? What if you've only dieted once? Well, single attempts at dieting were associated with a 3-time increased risk of being overweight over the age of 25 years old. But let's be real, most people don't try dieting just once. 1 or more attempts at dieting was actually associated with a 5 times increased risk of becoming overweight in the future. So that's why diets don't work for your biology. But what about your psychology? Have you ever noticed that as soon as you vow not to eat a certain food or a certain food group, that your desire for these foods almost increases immediately? If you do, you're not alone. Restrictive eating often leads to a preoccupation with food that triggers overeating. Your body's job and goal is to avoid starvation. So when you diet, your sensation of hunger increases, and this sets you up for overeating and feeling like you've lost control with food. A well-known research study on this was the Minnesota starvation diet, where soldiers in the 1940s were put on a reduced calorie diet quite similar to popular diets that happen today. And they did this over a 6-month period. The men became hyper-focused on food and eating to the point of over-exercising at times, being preoccupied with food and what their next meal would be, and even sneaking food. and something that might be uncomfortably familiar for you, this focus and drive for food continued even after they were weight restored to their original weight. If this makes sense to you or is even helping you understand why your diets didn't work in the past, leave a comment below and let me know how old you were when you first started dieting. This is something I'm really curious about for the people on this channel. We know diets don't work in the long run for keeping weight off, but they also increase your health risks. This is really important when we consider that the body weight of larger bodied individuals is often blamed for the health risks that they might experience, whereas research actually shows that the weight cycling and chronic dieting that is associated with, the pressures that people in larger bodies feel is actually the cause of the health risks that they experience. This includes increased cardiovascular risks such as fluctuations in blood pressure, heart rate, sympathetic activity, blood glucose, lipids, and insulin, putting additional stress on the cardiovascular system. It also includes increased risk of type 2 diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and bone fracture, and increased general mortality. These are all things that are really concerning for people in general, and oftentimes reasons that we are asked to put people on diets. And further impacting both your physical and mental health, dieting puts you at an increased risk of developing an eating disorder. When you consider that diets don't typically result in sustained weight loss and they even cause weight gain, you're more likely to engage in and resort to more extreme dieting measures that can be really unhealthy for your body. In a study of people who dieted in their teens, when they were followed up with 10 years later, 92% had dieted in the last 10 years. 83% had engaged in unhealthy dieting behaviors, and 97% had even engaged in eating disorder behaviors to control their weight. I hope by now it's obvious to you that diets don't work, but you're probably wondering, what does work then? First, know that body weight and shape are largely the result of individual genetics, even more so than heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, all of which we know are highly heritable. I'm here to encourage a non-diet approach to eating and movement. This shifts the focus away from weight outcomes to focusing more on improvement of your physical health and overall mental well-being. Intuitive eating in particular promotes eating based on your internal hunger cues, body acceptance, and making choices based on both your health and your satisfaction of food. Taking a non-diet approach has been related to increased self-esteem and decreased body dissatisfaction, sustained over a long period of time. Do you want to learn more about intuitive eating? Well, you'll have to come back next week to learn more about how intuitive eating can help you. If you're wanting to know more about your eating style and how your habits might be impacting why you overeat, click the link in the description box and take my free quiz and learn more about how your eating habits might be getting in the way of healthy eating. From my experience, overeating at night can be one of the biggest challenges that the clients I work with experience, and I think you might be able to relate to that. If you're ready to begin making changes and improve your relationship with food, download my free 5 Steps to End Overeating at Night guide in the description below. If you found this video helpful, let me know by giving it a like and subscribing so you don't miss a single video when I publish every Wednesday. And go ahead and share this video with a friend or a family member or anyone who you think would benefit from understanding why diets don't work.